Hey, it's Empress Rose. Welcome to our collective reading. We are hopeful to receive some good guidance here today for our week ahead, whenever this finds you, whatever week that is. We've got one poking out here, so I'm going to grab that. These are collective readings, general readings. Take what works, leave what doesn't. Happy to see you all here today, although I don't see you. All right, wow, they just want to flip around. They don't want to like come out. They're just like, we've got secrets. I'm gonna put these on a separate pile. The flippers. Okay. Interesting. All right, these flipped out. These are ready to talk. Align your life. So, what is not aligned or needs to change? Growth. It almost feels like the environment shifts. And this is reminding me of the mirror, the broken mirror that we've had recently. Just the broken mirror, not seeing yourself accurately. Or seeing what doesn't fit, seeing what needs to be reshaped. Like something in your environment changes, like that broken mirror, the mirror breaks, or not even that it's broken. That seems like too much of a word. Just the environment shifts and you're going to have to shift with it. It's these external forces that sort of start to have an effect on us and force us, that seems too strong, but nudge us to grow in directions that we weren't anticipating or intending. So what I'm seeing with this is the like the Mandelbrot set. So how I see our soul or our life is we have these sort of this programming or this energy, and as it unfolds like a fractal, it's like in our life, and there are certain obstacles or maybe even fated events or something. It's how that energy unfolds even around those obstacles. So it unfolds and it could be really predictable, except for here's this obstacle. Now we have this unpredictable way that this energy, our unique energy, is going to unfold. So it's like meeting an immovable object and having to sort of shift and adjust how you work. And then we have birthing a new age. So maybe it is like a new way of being in the world, a new project or something like that, that has to shift and adjust to what exists, to the immovable realities around us. And I think that's what makes life interesting. Like, I don't think it's all our vibration. I think it's our vibration meets these obstacles and these things. And, you know, one person could go through your exact childhood, but because their energy is very different, they have different reactions to everything that you experienced, and you have these reactions. So yeah, it's birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. So I think you have to create, or you have to re-envision yourself perhaps, or even create something that works for you. That's interesting, because I was thinking you have to shift for something else, but maybe you have to create something that works for you today, not who you were 5 years ago or whatever. So birthing a new age and sort of aligning to what your needs are right now. Maybe you need to create something that's more in alignment. Yeah, alignment. Something that's more in alignment. For some reason, I'm thinking about cars and tires. And just that wear and tear and the potholes messing with your alignment. Just the things you go with that occur, that you run over. And maybe you need new tires. wow, it's like they want to come out, but they're not. It's really interesting. Am I just like, I just lost my touch? Oh, wow. And then they just decided to go all over the floor. We'll deal with that later. It's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio. So maybe there's a story you've been telling yourself about a situation. And maybe it's a negative story. Maybe it's even about somebody else, which can be really humiliating when you've had a negative story about someone and then you discover like, oh, maybe they like matured or changed or something. And it's time for you to shift your perspective, because we're definitely needing to shift something. So shifting from a negative mind frame and letting it go and just being like, maybe that's not the story. Maybe all isn't lost. Maybe they're not a total douchebag. Maybe just allowing a possibility for something to not be the worst thing ever. Prosperity lies ahead, new moon in Taurus. So yeah, maybe the release negativity too, I want to go back here, is about of seeing the fuller picture of something. And maybe something looked not great at the beginning, but try not to have a negative attitude about it, because once you see the whole picture and the whole thing, it's going to feel a lot better. Prosperity lies ahead. So, all right. So we're birthing a new world. And this is the new moon, and it seems like this could be very successful. Even if it's not necessarily about money, it could just be a project or something like that that is successful, or a plan, or even planning a party. It's going to be successful. There's success on the horizon. And South Node, don't let your past hold you back. So again, this is time to release negativity, something about the past that may have having you feel I want to say barren or out of place or something like that, like incapable. But how you did something, that's not how you have to do it. It's like also being able to change your mind. Being able to change your mind is coming in very, very clearly here. Being able to shift something. It's reminding me of like making reservations and then changing the reservation as stuff comes in, and having a pause. I know that's such a minor thing, but it is like making a reservation. Just because you made that reservation for that time back here doesn't mean you can't change it. Just because you made a decision over here doesn't mean you can't change this over here. So I'd say a little less worry about something. Just because it's been that way doesn't mean it will always be that way. And really creating something, and it could be very positive. Now here are these extras that were just kind of flipped around and didn't want to come out. They're sort of background, but they're all both kind of background. They're like ancestors. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundation, divine plan. So this would be before birthing. We have, before the birthing, we have the planning. So something you've been planning. And keepers of the earth, you're not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. And I love that we have the grandmother and ancestors coming in here. This could be very specific for some of you. You very specifically could have a grandmother that's supporting you either in spirit realm or physically. Yeah, these are background planning and support. You're supported by a greater plan, and you're supported by, it just seems just really 3D oriented. Like this, there's a grandmother, not 3D because it could be in spirit form, but there's a grandmother here that's oh my gosh, I just realized I've got my mic. There's a grandmother. Yeah, that's all. There's a grandmother. And it's this, whatever this birth is, it's very well supported, like supported. There's a beautiful painting. I forget who it's by. I think it's on a mural of a birth center in San Francisco. Anyway, it's like the spirit form. It's a mother who's actually birthing, in the act of birthing, and then she's being supported by an older woman, and she's being supported by an older or bigger woman, and it's this series of support behind this birthing. Like, we have this being coming through a portal, right? The birthing coming through a portal from another realm into being, and the mother is the portal. The mother is the doorway for another being to enter this world. And so that's basically the concept of a mother. Is a mother another word for a doorway from being, someone coming from non-being into being. And so the series of support and the ancestors and all the people that laid a foundation for this, like, even, you know, like, yeah, there's 7 billion of us, but for each one of us to be here, the improbability is astounding, even though there's a lot of us here, of the parents getting together at a certain time to create this, and the grandparents getting together, 2 sets, creating 2 different people that are going to come together and create you. I mean, it's very, we got a lot of ancestors, a lot. But this is very grandmother focused. All right. I'm now scared to put something on that table since there's something off about it. Okay, we have 2. We have territory and freedom. Freedom is interesting because just personally it's come up in 4 different cards here. There's a card I pulled just recently. Freedom. So freedom, I just heard a really great explanation of freedom, of like not needing to ask for permission, not waiting for approval, not needing other people to sign off on things, but taking initiative, the freedom to take initiative, the freedom to have an idea and go do it, and not needing to like get a lot of sign off or get a lot of approval or whatever, not needing to check with this person or that person, or how does this person feel about it. So we have freedom and we have territory. Together these look like good fences make good neighbors, right? If you have a fence there on the property, then you can play soccer and the fence is going to keep this ball on your property, right? But if you don't have the fence there, you can't kick that ball that hard because it's like, well, it might go over into their territory, and then I have to like go into their yard, and now it's in their rose bush, which is under their bedroom window, and they're clearly asleep, and now I'm digging around under their bedroom window. But if you have a fence there, it's just the ball goes there and then bounces off. It's that idea seems to be coming through here. There's more freedom when there's a clear boundary of what is allowed, of what your territory is, of what's yours. But there also seems to be here this idea of freedom of like, yeah, this person, this is usually not your jurisdiction, but you're free to overstep right now. So that could also be coming in. Almost 2 entirely opposite messages. So you're free to overstep here, where normally you wouldn't be. Normally it would be like a hard boundary someone's drawn. This I'm thinking of like a coworker or something where there's like some hard boundaries of like, we are coworkers, period, not friends, but there's something could be happening where it's like, it's okay to blur that line a little bit. And take that under advisement, right? But if you need to hear that, if you are already getting an intuitive idea that maybe this would be okay to, you know, ask about a personal thing or something like that, that might be good. But usually it's like good fences make good neighbors. But and maybe you're welcome to, like, maybe there's been a barrier here and you get to go past that barrier. Like, I almost want to see like a glass ceiling, like maybe like this, and you get to, you're like, these people are all staying, you're not asking permission, you're just going into a different world, a different territory. You're maybe switching sides, or Yeah, it's like some freedom to trespass. Now, I am not your lawyer. I am not. So just that's the message is there's like a freedom to trespass, but be really careful with that. Normally I'm all about boundaries. You even hint at a boundary, I'm going to respect the heck out of that boundary until you tell me not to. And maybe you accidentally set a boundary and I really hurt it. And that's why I'm not reaching out, because maybe you set a really big, strong boundary and I'm responding the way I normally do. But this is like maybe that boundary is a little more porous, right? Really rethink that, or test. I don't know. I don't want you testing boundaries or taking no's as yeses or whatever. But sometimes that's what freedom means, is like, I don't know. All right, we're going to pull some goddesses for this section here, cutting the goddess deck. In your environment, your to-do list. Are you kidding? This Lilith chick has shown up so much. Like, we had that. So empowerment. So somebody, this would be someone in your environment feeling very empowered. It could be female empowerment. It could be a feminist or a feminist situation. Could be sexual freedom. There's some kind of, somebody's got some freedom here. Somebody can do something and feels very entitled. And that's almost what this feels like too, is that, right. And we've had freedom before with Freya, free spirit, and claiming some territory perhaps. And then we have discernment. This is you. I like this because this has like two really different messages. Either the great boundaries allow you to just kind of like I don't like asking for something from someone who doesn't have good boundaries, because I'm very confused. Like, okay, if I ask them if they can do this, they'll say yes no matter what is going on in their life, whether it's a good idea or not. So now I don't feel free to ask them. But when someone has super good boundaries, I'm like, hey, can you pick this up for me? And then they say no. And I'm like, cool, great. Now I know for sure that I can ask you anything and you will only do it if you can. Right now I know for sure that you have good boundaries, and now that gives me so much freedom to, if you're going to say, hey, that hurt my feelings, great. Now I actually feel more free to talk to you, because I know you're going to like be like, nope, that joke was too far. Thank you. Tell me, please. Because if you don't, then I'm scared the whole time. I'm like, I don't know. Did I just overstep? I don't want to overstep, but I also want to play, So, so discernment, you're discerning something, you're figuring out, and Blodova takes a really bad risk. Her husband's out of town, she decides to have an affair, gets caught, and it turns out very bad for her. So she did not use discernment. So we're using Blodova as really think it through and be discerning, especially on a message like this, where it could be like, good fences make good neighbors, or it could be like, maybe now is a time to kind of challenge a boundary that you feel is set. We have a lot of great stuff of like, we have this lies ahead, birth of a new age, prosperity, something really fabulous lying ahead, letting go of the past back here, but needing to be more discerning, I guess. All right, well, let's see what else we have. We'll do the rest of the tarot reading. Cutting the deck from the bottom of the deck. 3 of Pentacles. So, group work project. That's interesting. People that you work with, group work, everybody having their own roles. So this could be an actual project, a temporary project. This could be someone you hired to do something, or something you've been hired to do. To me, it looks like a temporary project, but everybody's working together to create a new world. So maybe you're birthing a new age, but maybe it's a collective project and we're all working together to make something new or create something. But this is about, there are other people here and they are working with you. Usually I feel like there's some money, a professional project, a professional group project, or even a college or school group project. Could even be like a remodel on your home or something like that, like where there's several different people working together and maybe all under the umbrella of one project. Like we're redoing the bathroom and now we have the plumber coming in, we have the tile layer, we have the painter, and we have the, I don't know if you need an architect for a bathroom, but sometimes people's ideas are very bad and they should have consulted a professional. So past, whoa, okay, I don't know what to do with that. That was a mistake, but we're gonna do 2 in the past. Wow. Past, present, inner landscape. What's the issue? Environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Oh, right, to-do list. Let's go. All right, in the past, we have 4 of Cups and King of Pentacles. So someone's been disappointed. I like that these 2 cards came out. This one upside down or flipped, and this one was the right one. So this modifies this one. We have a very disappointed worker, hard worker, someone, but this is like the I don't know what the levels are in like union work or carpentry or plumbing or whatever, but this is someone at the highest level. They've seen some shit and they're aware of the tricks, and they're very disappointed. And this again is saying work. We've got pentacles here. We've got cups, wands, pentacles, 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 pentacles. So this is very much about money and work. This person's had some disappointments. I'm not sure that this is you because we're getting King of Pentacles, someone outside of you who would be at the top of their game, but they've had some disappointments and setbacks recently. The 4 of Cups is just, and it's a little cynical. Oh, it could be you because it's time to release negativity, but that negativity is well earned. There's a cynicism here with this King of Pentacles, this person who has invested quite a bit in their career. Something here, time is a distraction. Time is a distraction. Maybe you've been disappointed by this King of Pentacles. Maybe there's somebody that you would consider, this can be like a real dad, or someone who's more of a working class person who's had a very long and prosperous career. So I guess that's not working. I don't know. They work like usually with their hands for a living, or this can be an actual real dad. And there's some disappointment, some sort of repeated thing that's been very disappointed. So there could be, since this is sort of a work money reading, there could be disappointment in someone's career. If you meet like a very successful but very cynical person, it's because they've come by that very naturally. So some disappointment, uncertainty as well due to past experiences. So they may be uncertain about or have been uncertain about something that maybe you're proposing or something that you've brought to the table. It could also be like a very I'm getting a very intellectual vibe from this, as far as like someone who's just thinking intellectually. There's cups, but it's like, okay, so maybe you've been disappointed. So that's what I'm like, I'm very much in my head when I'm thinking about these 2 cards here. Like I'm really thinking about these 2 cards. It's a very much in my head, thinking about past disappointments. It could also be like thinking about like you're disappointed in this person, because we also have you releasing negativity. So you could be very disappointed in your father. You could be very disappointed in your relationship with your father. You could be the successful one who's very cynical. It could be someone who's just really cynical. So there's some past disappointment, and it has to do with either a father or like a real working class boss person, or someone with but they're sort of towards the end of like a long career where they've invested quite a bit of time and possibly money, and maybe that career hasn't gone very well. It could be a project. Yeah, there's a lot of pentacles here, so there's a lot of like work, project, money stuff. I keep repeating that, but it's not my fault. There are a lot of pentacles here, so I'm gonna, and they're repeating. So Ace of Cups. All right. Well, this king may have been very uncertain about something emotional, like emotional disappointment. But here we have this new relationship, this new emotional journey. It's like this Four of Cups, and this person is usually like contemplating the fourth cup. And like, I've tried three cups. I do not like them. I do not like this drink. I do not like this beverage. It's like a new drink comes out and they've tried three flavors and they hate them all. So why were they trying the fourth? But it looks like they are trying the fourth. And this could be you now. But there's a new relationship or a renewal. And I think you might need to be adjusting your expectations of somebody or something. Because it looks like maybe there was a lot of negativity or fear at the beginning, but now you're adjusting. Ace of Cups, a new relationship or a new perspective on a relationship, a lot of emotion, new emotion. There's a lot of purity here. So this cynicism back here is gone. There's a purity here. And if somebody is changing from cynical to hopeful, you are going to have to adjust as well. So not being naive about that, using your discernment about that, but not having to, but you're adjusting to that new reality of who this person is coming in as now, where in the past you've known them as maybe a little cynical, maybe a little negative. And maybe it's you're suddenly feeling hopeful and excited about something, and you're going to have to like forget about those past negative experiences and just be very present with this new hopeful experience. And I would say birthing of a new age. Ace of Cups. It's a new era, a new day, a new dawn, a new relationship. So allowing something to be very new, and not renewal new, but new. And then we have your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape. This looks like fears. Five of Wands. There's a lot of energy here. It almost looks like a mosh pit, a dance party. To me, I'm not getting conflict, but I am getting that like the mosh pit, like this playful conflict, this playing at a fight, like mosh pits. I don't know if they have them anymore. I thought someone was starting a mosh pit, but she was actually just shoving me around, so I had to put an elbow out. And then she was upset because she hurt herself on my elbow. I'm like, well, if you weren't shoving me with your whole body. Anyway, I thought we were starting a mosh pit, but it turns out I was just being attacked or whatever. It was very strange. At this big age, what? So anyway, that's what this reminds me of, is that dance floor that got where I'm like, are we moshing now? Is this like 1993? What's happening? So, but there is sort of this, I would say that this is probably a fear. This isn't like, I mean, a lot of people love their mosh pits. Like I had a coworker coming in bruised and every weekend in 1991 because she loved her mosh pits, and she would come in with black eyes and bruises all over, and it was very fun for her. So, I mean, it might be fun for some people. It might not be fun for you. You might want to get out of this little mosh pit, but that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a little bit of an overly aggressive dance party. Now, you may be worried, you could be worried about differences, different ways of coping with situations, different ways of dealing with situations. I mean, Five of Wands just reminds me that everybody's got different needs and different strategies for meeting those needs. And some of these strategies are learned from people that were highly dysfunctional. Some of these strategies are because they are highly dysfunctional. Some of these strategies are because their parents are highly dysfunctional, and that's where they learned how to be a human from. So there's a huge variety of people, and we don't always mesh really well because we have different motives and different ways of getting those motives. So almost like I was saying, like, two people can have the same childhood, but because of their internal innate vibe and energy, they're responding very differently to it. So it almost seems like you could have the same desire and motivation as somebody else, but just really different ways of going about meeting those needs. So it could be a fear and a worry about different needs, and maybe even about conflict, even if it's a little lighthearted, and even if we have the same goal in mind and we're all headed in the same direction. You could be worried about some kind of conflict, even though it's like among friends and it's friendly competition, and everybody takes friendly competition very differently. And so, yeah, it's not super competitive and viciously competitive. It's just like people that maybe even it's just one argument. You're just worried about one discussion, one argument in which you know everybody has a different idea and different opinions on. And you're not looking forward to that discussion, even though there's like this really great new beginning, there's a fear of conflict or a fear of even playful conflict or of having to talk about something in which there might not be, having to cross swords with someone, having conflict. But it's interesting because the conflict feels confrontational, but not destructive. It feels like we're going to have to talk about this, but it's definitely not going to end the relationship or something like that. But it's still going to be uncomfortable. But so you're thinking about that. 10 of Pentacles. Somebody's broke. The family's fallen apart. There's something that didn't finish. This is like working on a project. This is reminding me of like the wrap party or something like that. After something's over, a production is over, we have this wrap party, but it's not happening, or it's not because somebody's cynical or something. I don't know, but it's not happening. We're not doing it. We're not going there. We're not celebrating either something didn't finish, like this bathroom's not finished. The bathroom remodel is not finished, and you're going to have a talk. And maybe you found somebody better rather than this, like, I think this negative journeyman, you found somebody better and you're going to have to talk, or you have to talk about this. What's this? This is either not celebrating an ending, not retiring, not celebrating an ending, not going to the party, not going to the reunion, not... There's either no party, no reunion, no retirement party, not retiring, no completion. It's not completed. So it's not over. It's got all the potential to be great. Right. We already saw that in the prosperity lies ahead. But, this could be like needing, like with this, don't let your past hold you back, like needing to switch contractors or something like that, because this guy's not, you've been repeatedly disappointed by this person who was supposed to be so great and so amazing. So in your environment, we have empowerment. Someone feels very empowered, maybe a little rebellious. This person could be a little rebellious, a little thumbing their nose at regulations or expectations. And they're like, I don't have to. I'm free. I'm empowered. And we have Queen of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, we have the King. We have the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. So a mom and a dad. Mom may be a little overpowering. Mom may be, she's looking at her next step. So I could take a different direction with us, where someone has the right and ability to flout the rules or something, and they're looking at their next steps. This is someone who's very career oriented, empowered. It's very much a woman, in my opinion, or someone who has taken on that identity. This is a person who, this looks like a woman to me. I mean, when we're talking about the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles in the physical signs, this could be mother and father. This could be a male and a female, at least presenting. So this looks like a woman that you know, or someone that you know is a woman, really feeling empowered to take a next step in their life, really feeling in control, really feeling themselves, feeling very ready for the next step. But they're planning it. So I don't feel like it's... And there's like a freedom and an allowment or something. They're not waiting for permission. And they're very much planning their next steps. So this could be part of this group work, or this group work that you're looking into. And then this is just letting you know. And I feel like this person isn't being very like upfront or forthright about it. They're like, they know what they need to do next. They know what their next step is. It's like it's like a representative running for governor or something like that. But they're thinking, they're like, yes, I can do this. They're feeling very empowered. They're feeling like they can do this. they are going to take a big step up, a big step forward with their career or something like that. If this is just a career, or if this is a parent, they're feeling very like powerful and very in control. So this could be, though, I think the primary message I'm feeling is that this is someone who's ready for the next step. So, and they may not be talking about it. So it could be something you have no idea about. And that's one of the points of this card, is to say, like, what's going on in your environment that you may not know about, that's not obvious and in your face. And this is that somebody's feeling themselves and feeling very powerful, and looking at what they want to do with that sense of power and what direction and steps they want to go. So you could be looking at somebody thinking like, okay, well, maybe this representative has plans to be a governor, or so they are looking at you from that lens of what their next step is. And then we have Blooded discernment, and then we have the Lovers. So this is choices. These two together is really looking like a choice to me, a choice point, choosing to go towards something that excites you, enlivens you, and trying to resist the very primitive need to avoid pain and suffering. So we do want to avoid pain and suffering, but we're looking more about what we want versus what we want to avoid. So we're running our boat on the gasoline of desire and hope and love, versus running our boat on our little motorboat on the diesel of fear, right? The diesel of, oh my God, get me away from here, versus the gasoline. I don't know why. Just ignore that. I have labeled diesel as fear and gasoline as hope. So on the gas of moving towards something. So needing to make choices and decisions and discernment, and also I think integrity comes in here with the Blooded. Discernment and integrity about what you want. So needing that. That's your job, is to choose, make, and to be discerning. Now, we can be too clever by half, and I have been over planning, overthinking something. So I definitely don't think the cards are saying that, but I think also this don't let your past hold you back is reminding me of the nodal work. If the North Node, South Node in your astrological chart does seem really important in this aspect here, when we're turning away from fear and turning towards hope and desire. So just because you've made a choice before doesn't mean you have to stick with it. And discerning, I think also this is wanting you to not overthink this or not over apply this reading, but definitely like ownership in your life of what decision is right for you. There is a decision, you do need to use discernment about whose advice to follow, what's resonating with you, what's not, and really sort of sorting out. There's something also sorting out what's fear driven and what's desire and hope driven. But I think there's also something here in anticipating, like literally writing out your fears. Like if there's an event or a situation, what exactly are you afraid of? Are you afraid you're going to go too fast? Are you afraid you're going to end up someplace you don't want to be? Are you afraid of ending up in a career path that you'd be very like? What are the fears here? Are you afraid of conflict? Are you afraid of bringing something up with a coworker? Are you tired of conflict? Whatever. Like what are these things? And then how can you address the things? So not just dismissing fears and anxiety as like, oh, uncomfortable feelings, I'm going to feel peace instead, which is important and good. But sometimes there's a process to feeling peace rather than just moving it off to the side. There's a process where, and it might be smart here to go through that process and to analyze sort of And then how can you mitigate for that? Can you practice a conversation? Can you practice overcoming your fears? Can you visualize how to deal with this? Like, that's sort of something that's coming through here with the Lovers, is like visualizing what you want versus visualizing what you don't want. And I think being really clear about that, and really the discernment feels to me like something where it's a really like thought process of like, well, what happens if I do this and take this risk and this person finds out or catches or whatever, and how can I be smart about the choices I'm making? That's what this looks like. How can I be smart about the choices I'm making? All right, so 7 of Wands is standing your ground. Whatever room you enter, you belong there, right? Fate puts you there. You're there. You're there. So standing your ground, you have a right to make the decisions. Defending your territory, right? We had recently, don't stand your ground because it's not being eroded. So you don't need to like come in really strong. This is coming in really strong, and it's under 5 of Wands, the 7 of Wands. So here's this conflict you're afraid of. Here's like, do not be afraid of this conflict. And in fact, you already are ahead of the game. Stay ahead of the game. And don't let these people erode your self-confidence. Don't let these people steal your energy. Don't let this, your fears and visualizations of this conflict, really erode what you're doing. And I think when you make this decision and you're very smart about your decision, then when people come after you for the decisions that you've made, you can defend them and say, this is why. So you want to me, that's like the heart of leadership. Well, there's a couple things that are, but the heart of leadership is making the difficult decisions. And we have that, I think, right here, making the difficult decisions and communicating your decisions clearly. And why are we communicating them clearly? Because we know why we made them and we can defend them. So communicating them clearly and not being quite so worried about this melee, kind of rising above it and just being like, I stand by my decisions and what I've made. So you're making smart decisions, you're communicating about those decisions, and you're standing by those decisions. Another idea about leadership, in my opinion, is having a vision and being able to communicate that vision. And it's similar. It's like you have the vision, you make the decisions, and then you communicate very clearly about it, and you stand by it. So this is, to me, looking like making a decision and making sure you can stand by the decision and not letting other people tell you you didn't have a right to make that decision, because we have freedom on here. So, or that, yeah, you're going to need to defend this decision. You can make a decision and you can defend that decision. And that's part of, like, I think, taking ownership over your own life. And, but you have to be clear about it. I don't think we know. When we make decision, you don't have a choice until you see that you have a choice, right? There's no fork in the road until you see the fork in the road. And then you're like, oh, I am making a decision. So this is being very clear that you are making a decision and understanding that you're going to have to defend that decision, which has sort of been a worry that you have. You're going to have to make a decision and defend that decision. So be really clear and about why you are making the decision, and really play it out in your mind about what this means. And do not be afraid of naysayers. Do not be afraid of resistance. Everybody's got a different life to live. Everybody's got different strategies, and you've got yours, and there's a lot of ownership here in that. All right, and then we're going to take an auspicious symbol to sort of close this up. Haha, Hecka. Hecka. The magician doctor. Original medicine. Connect to the magic of Hecate to find inspired thoughts and perfect action. So this to me is a lot about what we're thinking about and what we're, what's going on in our mind, creating our reality. So for me, what goes on in my mind often comes out of my mouth very easily and at inopportune times. So I try to keep my mind kind of nice in there, good thoughts about other people, because I know they're going to come out. So, but this is that is a small metaphor for what this is. Like, your thoughts are going to create your reality to a certain extent, right? We have the perimeters of reality. We have these immovable forces. We have our moments in history that we're not necessarily in charge of. But this is the unfolding, is your energy, is your thoughts, and they come into the world. There's a sense of renewal here. There's some medicine. Yeah, he was the original like doctor, but for them, germs weren't visible. So it was these invisible forces in the world making you sick, and these invisible forces making you, I don't know, sick. Just repeating it. So yeah, so this is very, so they were invisible forces. It did feel like magic. It did feel mysterious. So there was this ancient connection there. So inspired thoughts and perfect action. And that's what we're thinking. The thoughts and the action, like, and looking to Heka for some help with that, maybe. All right, I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you so much for joining me here. I really appreciate it. I love all your comments, even though sometimes I'm not in the mind frame to respond. I do read them, and I appreciate them, and I try to respond when I do have the mental capacity. Or, I mean, being in this space right here is really different than like my day-to-day. So sometimes we talk about that, and it's hard to reconnect with this space when I'm like, I'm just taking a 5-minute sit down from some chores here, and I'm reading. So I am reading, and I really appreciate your comments and donations too. Those are really rad too. And your likes. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, you guys. I hope this was helpful for you.